everybody, Bad Weather Freak here. I am coming at you as of 9 o'clock, July 25th, 2020, with the latest on 2020 hurricane season. Now, we're going to talk about Hanna. We're going to talk about Gonzalo and the other potential system that may form within the next few days. Now, let's quickly jump, and I'm also going to talk about Douglas too. I'm not going to forget you guys if you guys live in Hawaii and the potential impacts that you're going to feel from Hurricane Douglas. But let's go ahead and start with Hanna. So Hanna intensified overnight and became a hurricane. So officially, it is the first hurricane of the Atlantic hurricane season. Now let's go ahead and take a peek of what is going on with Hanna. So Hanna, as of 7 o'clock in the morning update, it is moving west at 9 miles per hour, and it has a minimum pressure of 982 millibars, sustained winds of 75 miles per hour with higher gusts. So let's read what the National Hurricane Center said about this particular storm. So as of right now, there is a storm surge warning in effect for Port Mansfield to Sargent, Texas. There's a hurricane warning in effect for Port Mansfield to Mesquite Bay, Texas. So remember, when the warning means that it's imminent. It is happening within the next few hours. And there is a tropical storm warning in effect for Barra El Mezquital, Mexico to Port Mansfield, Texas, and Mesquite Bay to High Island, Texas. So this, as you can see, it is going to affect the southern part of Texas and parts of Mexico. See, this is basically the definition of hurricane warning. It means that hurricane conditions are expected somewhere within the warning area within 12 hours. So that's how soon this thing is going to start affecting Texas. Which part of it, I'm going to show you some in the radar for the area, and you can see that it's already affecting Texas. But the discussion basically says that Hanna is moving toward the west near 9 miles per hour. This motion should continue through this morning. A gradual turn towards the west-southwest is expected by tonight, and that motion should continue through Sunday. On the forecast track, the center of Hanna should make landfall along the Texas coast within the hurricane warning area this afternoon or early this evening. Data from the aircraft, reconnaissance aircraft, and Doppler weather radar show that the Hanna has winds of 75 miles per hour with higher gusts. Additional strengthening is forecasted before Hanna makes landfall later today. I have a feeling that this Hanna is probably going to be a Category 2 at landfall. It's not going to hold the status for long because it's pretty much already, it's a matter of hours before it makes landfall. So it doesn't have a lot of time, but it is continuing strengthening. It is looking very good on radar. So some of the forecast models are actually saying that the pressure is going to be in the 970s, which is a Category 2 hurricane. Now, as far as the wind speeds, hurricane force wind extend out 25 miles from the center, and tropical storm winds extends out 90 miles from the center. Now, what impacts are we expecting from this? Well, we got for some storm surge 2 to 4 feet in Port Mansfield to Baffin Bay, Texas. Some flooding, of course, is expected. As far as rainfall, which is my concern here because it's expected to slow down as it makes landfall, there is 6 to 12 inches of rain with isolated maximum of 18 inches through Sunday night in South Texas and into the Mexican states of Coahuila, Nuevo León, and northern Tamaulipas. So there is a potential of heavy flooding, and that's a lot of rain. So that's the biggest concern right here. Of course, the wind. It's another concern, but it's not the main concern here since it's only. I don't want to downplay the fact that it may be a hurricane Category 2, but the biggest issue here would be rain for sure. Now let's go ahead and excuse me. Look at the wind probabilities. As you can see Corpus Christi and south of Corpus Christi, that's going to be the highest concentration where the winds are going to be. Pretty much where it makes landfall. And the arrival of landfall is showing as this afternoon, pretty much, roughly around noon or afternoon time. The rain, see here, about 6 to 12 inches, how they said. That's the maximum, the amount of rain that is expected. Now, flash flood potential, there's a very high potential. Again, south of Corpus Christi, that's going to be the key area that is going to be affected the most. And basically, the cone of uncertainty, I mean, at this point, the cone is very small because it's about to make landfall, but look like Corpus Christi or south of there is pretty much going to be the most affected area. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the radar imagery and see how it's actually organized. And you can see that it's a broad area. It's a fairly large storm. It doesn't have a lot of time, so that's why you see that it's starting to spread out because it's getting closer to land. So soon it's going to start weakening as it hits land, as it makes landfall. But it's still producing, and again, it's still intensifying, but it doesn't have a lot of time anymore. But I'm expecting this, like I said before, to become at least a Category 2 hurricane at landfall. Now, some of the other things, there's a lot of different things available, but this is basically the National Weather Service current radar from Brownsville, Texas. You guys can see how we have the center circulation here, so within a few more hours, it's actually gonna make landfall south of Corpus Christi, seems like it. But already this area, the south part of Texas, is receiving some rain bands. Some of them are on the yellow parts here, a little heavier than the green parts. But the core, the worst is still to come as it makes landfall and it gets closer to the coast. Now, if you guys haven't checked this website, I wanted to give a shout out. Definitely, I love this website because it has everything you can think of here. Check out trackthetropics.com. I know I usually mention tropical tidbits, but this is a very good website too because it has everything at your disposal, like at hand, basically. And go and support it because it's actually very good work that what they're doing here. Now let's check out as far as which areas are under hurricane warning, tropical storm warning. So you can see a good portion of Texas is under tropical storm warning, and then where it's making landfall from Corpus Christi south to almost Brownsville is under a hurricane warning, and conditions are likely. So let's go take a look at. I think that's pretty much it as far as what it has to do with Hurricane Hanna. Now let's go and move on to. I go back here and move on to. What is this here? Let me go back. Let's talk about Gonzalo. Gonzalo is, like I said on my last video yesterday, it is struggling to really do anything and intensify. Now you can see for the very small area, it has moved really far south. So some of these islands have discontinued their tropical storm warnings. And it seems like Trinidad and Tobago is the areas that are going to be affected by this storm. But nothing too concerning here. It's expected to continue to weaken. And it's expected to dissipate probably by the end of this weekend. So not much going on with Gonzalo. Some forecast models they do keep it alive and kind of moving more this way. But it's a long shot. And we don't know what is going to happen with Gonzalo. But so far, it's going to bring some rainy conditions and some potential flooding conditions to Trinidad and Tobago. Let's go ahead and talk about 92L, which is the older system that we're looking at here. Now, for this particular system, the National Hurricane Center actually upgraded or upped the chances of development. As you can see there, it's producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms, but it's expected for conditions to be favorable. And a tropical depression could form by early next week as the system moves further west. Now there is a 60% chance within the next 5 days that may become the next storm, and I'm going to show you guys what the forecast models are picking up, so you guys can have a pretty good idea of where the storm may go. And again, this forecast models have been changing way too much, so again, just keep an eye on, but don't really lose your sleep over it, because it's gonna change. I mean, it's gonna change. The same thing happened with Hanna. Hanna was supposed to possibly go through Houston, and look how far south is actually going, and it's expected to move a little bit more further south right before landfall. So the trajectory changes. Gonzalo, same thing. Gonzalo was supposed to kind of like come on this way, and it kept moving kind of like further down, and look where it's almost in Venezuela now. So that's something that they do change quite a bit. Now let's talk about well, actually, let's read what the National Hurricane Center said about Gonzalo, and then we'll jump to Hurricane Douglas. So as far as Gonzalo goes, it's nearing Trinidad and Tobago. The government of Barbados has canceled the tropical storm warning for St. Vincent and Grenadines. Tropical storm warning is in effect for Tobago, Grenada, and its dependencies. Tropical storm warning means there's going to be tropical storm conditions or their effects within 24 hours. The center of Tropical Storm Gonzalo was located near 10.3 north latitude and 59.8 west longitude. It's actually picking up speed. It's moving to the west almost at 18 miles an hour. This general westward to northwestward motion is expected for the next couple days. On the forecast track, Gonzalo will move across the southern Windward Islands in the afternoon, this afternoon or evening, and over the southeastern Caribbean Sea on Monday. So little changing. It has winds of 40 miles an hour with higher gusts. Little change in strength is forecasted before Gonzalo reaches the southern Windward Island later today. Weakening is expected after Gonzalo moves over the southeastern Caribbean Sea, and the system is forecasted to dissipate by Sunday night or Monday. Very small system, only 25 miles. The wind field. So that's what is going on. Couple inches of rain. That's what is expected. So not major impacts from Gonzalo. Now moving on to Hurricane Douglas. Now let's take a look at Hurricane Douglas. Hurricane Douglas may be the very first, or not I want to say the very first hurricane in a long time to make landfall in Hawaii as a hurricane. The majority of storms either go up, like north of it, south, they turn way before with hundreds of miles. So it is very, very rare to see a storm actually make landfall as a hurricane in Hawaii. But nevertheless, it's expected. That's why you see the Hawaiian Islands kind of highlighted pink and some blues. Well, the pink is definitely the hurricane watches. So if you guys are in Hawaii, this is a rare thing to see. Start getting ready. Start getting prepared, because conditions are going to start going downhill unless the forecast keeps shifting further north, which is a possibility. If that happens, of course, the impacts are not going to be the same. It's not going to be as significant. Same thing for Texas. If you guys are watching this video, start getting because you should have already have everything ready before the storm, before Hurricane Hanna makes landfall. You should be finishing up and starting to hunker down, because this is within a matter of hours. You still have probably another 4 or 5 hours to really stay in your house, hunker down. Right now, you should be gathering water, if collecting water in the bathtubs for flush down the toilets in case you lose water. You should be picking up everything that could become projectiles outside, like lawn chairs, barbecue, grill, things that can be lifted by the wind and used as a projectile in against your home. So that's what you should be doing right now, putting everything indoors and just waiting for the storm to pass. Now, for going back to Hurricane Douglas, as of the 2 in the morning update, west-northwest at 18 miles an hour, so it's moving pretty fast, 973 millibars, 110 miles per hour winds. So this is something that is It was a major hurricane before. Now it's actually weakening. But right now, there's a tropical storm warning for Hawaii County, Maui County, including the islands of Maui, Lanai, Molokai, and Kahulawi, something like that. Sorry if I misspelled or mispronounced it. A hurricane watch is in effect for Hawaii County, Maui County, including the islands of Maui, Lanai, Molokai, and Kahulawi and Oahu. So those are, if you guys are on this area, basically pay closer attention. Now, as far as the center of Douglas was located near latitude 18.7 north, longitude 147.7 west. Douglas is moving near 18 miles an hour. This is expected to continue through Saturday, followed by a slight decrease in forward speed and a turn towards the west. So this moving to the west is actually going to bring it closer to the Hawaiian Islands and not over the Hawaiian Islands. On the forecast track, Douglas will be near the main Hawaiian Islands Saturday night through Sunday night. Maximum sustained winds are 110 miles per hour with higher gusts. So Douglas is a Category 2 hurricane, and gradual weakening is expected to continue through the weekend. However, Douglas is still forecast to be near hurricane strength when it nears the islands. Hurricane force winds extend 30 miles from the center and 150 miles for tropical storm force winds from the center out. Some of the impacts. Main thing here, yes, it's going to be hurricane by landfall, but rain again is the main factor that we're looking at, where accumulations of 5 to 10 inches with locally higher amounts will be possible. Now, keep in mind, we have also the potential of having some landslides because Hawaii, there's a lot of mountains in Hawaii. So that's something to keep an eye on. Okay, now let's take a look at the forecast model, because I wanted to point out. So according to the GFS, Hanna is supposed to be about 973 millibars at landfall. If you guys saw where Hurricane Douglas is right now, Hurricane Douglas is sitting on the low 1970 pressure. Or not 1970, I'm sorry, 970 pressure. When that means that Hanna has a potential becoming a Category 2, just like Douglas is right now. Now, let's go ahead and play the GFS, because this is interesting what the storm that you guys are seeing here. So you got Hanna making landfall of 972 millibars. This is pretty much, sounds to me fairly accurate. But then you have the one that is behind Gonzalo over here. And you notice how it's kind of like going through the islands, starts intensifying again, and then basically just brushes Florida and kind of the coast of the Carolinas, and it moves out to sea. That's what GFS is expecting. This is going to change because it has been changing for a long time. Now, warmer temperature the water temperatures here are pretty warm, so that's why you see how it spikes up into the 960s, which is pretty much a major hurricane. Now, let's see what the European model is saying. Now, the European model is having, let's see, Hanna making landfall here. This is Gonzalo fizzling, and then this is 92L surviving all the Caribbean and making it into the Gulf. That's basically what the European model is saying. Again, long shot. We don't know what's going to happen, but let's play the GFS para. Hanna again here. This is Gonzalo, and then you have 92L here. Let me just kind of speed this up a little bit. So now the GFS is actually not doing much with 92L. The Canadian model, let's take out the Canadian model. Now the Canadian model is showing a little different. Hanna again here, Gonzalo fizzling out, and then you have 92L here. Let me go ahead and speed these up. So now GFS shows it going over Puerto Rico, strengthening, but staying pretty far from Florida and any U.S. coast. So that's an interesting forecast. But again, it's too far out. We just have to wait. If this is going to happen, well, we'll have to see what happens with the Bermuda High. The Bermuda High, if it's closer to the United States, it's going to keep the storm south and not doing that curve and, running towards Florida. But again, it's a long shot. So just keep paying attention And don't, because this has been changing, fluctuating quite a bit. I saw the GFS having, I think it was a 92L kind of doing this into Florida, then kind of going through this, then kind of like going straight. So it's all over the place. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of miles of water or coast. So it's not accurate. That's not, that's not accurate. But other than that, guys, I think I'm gonna cut the. We'll leave you guys with the satellite imagery with Hurricane Hanna, since it's the imminent threat right now. But other than that, guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, like the video, share with your friends, your family. Any comments, put it in the comment section below, and subscribe to my channel. Let's try to get 250 subscribers. That's my goal for this channel. The first goal, 250 subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. You guys supporting me. I'm almost in 200 subscribers. I mean, to me, that means a lot. I love the weather, and I would like to keep putting all these videos out there for you guys. So thank you for supporting me. Let's try to hit 250 subscribers. And until the next time, take care. If you're in Texas, finish your preparations, stay safe, and I will definitely keep you guys posted with any changes. Thank you, and have a good day.